What is up, guys? Silver Warrior here, and today I'm just gonna be making a video, kind of talking about like almost like silver stacking in the modern world. And what I mean is that when you think of like somebody who like maybe if like especially if you're not like a silver stacker yourself and not in this community, like people outside of it might think something like if they imagine somebody who is a silver, hoarder or whatever. Imagine some, like giant hoard back in like the 1950s and 60s of like, a bunch of silver bars. And they don't really think about the fact that today silver stacking is bigger than it's ever been. I mean, people who don't know about it, just imagine it like, silver ingots as they like to call them. And there's like these a bunch of like huge bars that someone just has and stuff like, under their bed or something like that. They don't really imagine silver investing in the way that it is today because really, I mean, it has evolved a lot. Especially since people like PCGS came about and other services like that that began grading coins and began putting really like a name and a grade to a coin to really narrow down what they're worth and authenticate them for you. Coin collecting became a lot bigger, and that of course led to silver stacking as in of itself with higher premium bullion pieces that could be graded. And then we had things like American Silver Eagle series released in 1986 that really like perpetuated silver stacking into what it is today, and other government mint coins as well, of course, such as like the Canadian Maple Leaf, and there's a lot of more recent ones from governments that are trying to catch up, and that really is what pushed silver stacking into what it is today. I think is that a lot of these modern coin series are coming out and they're pushing it farther than it ever has been because it's not just about buying silver bars anymore. That's what it was. If you look 50, 60 years ago, that's really what all you did was you bought silver bars and you hoarded them away and that was it. Or maybe you might deal in higher end coins. And that was like the two things that there were. And now there's so many different types of bar. I mean, just poor silver, for example, is something that's like uh, almost had a resurgence because back, I mean, if you look back, every single bar was going to be hand poured, or I mean, it was poured maybe by a big company. It wasn't like some small dude doing it, but like it was all poured bars. Pressed bars weren't a thing. You know, I mean, in the '70s there was still pressed pieces, but I'm talking like in the 1950s and before that even there were really no pressed bars. They were all going to be poured. But now you have things like silver art almost that makes investing just so much more than it ever could have been. And so, really, I mean, if you're going to be successful in today in investing in silver, then there's just a lot of things that need to be done differently. There's things that you would have never even considered before, like online purchasing, for example. If you're going about that, then there's a lot of money to be made on websites such as Instagram, where if you get into the silver community, there's a lot of risk involved and there's also a lot of money to be made. I've never personally been scammed, but I know a lot of people who have been. I almost was scammed. I was talking to a dude who became later on a known scammer, and I almost bought like some silver bars from him or something like. Yeah, I almost bought. He had a bunch of like silver bars. I almost bought some from him, and it was really close. And then I found out he was a scammer the next day, and I was like, that was a close one, right? Because I almost just got scammed really hard. And the dude had done other dumb things, like he had went and he claims he didn't buy the followers. He claims he used an app, which I don't know. I don't really care, but he ended up having like 35K followers in like a couple weeks, not even. Well, it was like a month probably. But he had a ridiculous amount of followers because he went and used a bunch of bots to get him. But long story short, there's a lot of scammers out there, and you might think that with modern technologies, it's harder to get scammed because there's so much more preventing it, but it's easier than it ever has been to get scammed thanks to online purchasing. So if you're going to be successful in the modern world of silver stacking, then that's something you have to be aware of and you have to be intelligent of. Especially if you don't want to pay the hefty premiums you have to pay on coins like these that are graded, then really something you have to consider is those people that are trying to scam you. And there's a lot of scammers out there. There's probably more fake silver being sold right now, at least on certain websites like eBay and all that, than there is real silver. But there are a lot of reputable people out there that are really trying to advance the community and try to help you personally. And that's one of the things I like about Instagram is that it really feels personal. Like, you know the person you're buying from, even if the silver came from a big company originally or whatever. You know the person at least somewhat, and maybe you don't know them, like maybe you've never met them in real life, but you know them to an extent, and enough so where you can trust them. You know, they have successful sales. They've, pulled off other ones in the past, and they're just a good person. And that's something that is really nice to know when you're investing in silver. But at the same time, buying from the big companies, there might not be much of a personal note, but there is less risk of getting scammed. If you're buying from someone like APMEX or Provident, you'll have to pay more usually, but at the same time, there is, of course, a lower chance of getting scammed. But buying silver and knowing about silver is easier than it's ever been. I mean, you look 20 years ago, there was no YouTube silver stacking community making videos every single day for you guys. I mean, now there's a lot of channels up there. If you look at all the channels, there's several videos every day being uploaded that are just advice on silver stacking. I personally have uploaded many videos on it, and a lot of other people have as well. So that's just something that really helps. I think can help a lot of people. But of course, with the fact that it's easy to become informed, also means that the scammers are becoming more clever. So that's definitely something to watch out for. But overall, if you're just trying to be successful in this modern world of silver stacking, I mean, and I'm not even talking about buying coins and selling them, because that's a whole nother thing. I'm just talking about having silver that you can guarantee is real. Then just know what you're doing in terms of like technology. Make sure you become up to date with all the current technology out there, all the websites, all the best ways, and all the new ways to buy silver. Make sure you're becoming aware of all, what's going on, all the new companies that are arising, and everything like that, so you can get it maybe on the ground floor, buying silver very early on from them that ends up becoming worth some big money. And most importantly, just make sure that you are, doing everything you can in your power to make your stack as productive as it possibly can be for you personally. And I do hope you enjoy this video. I hope it, it makes you think a little bit about everything that's been going on. And that is it for this one. Peace, love, and much respect.